Hello. Today is day 3, and whew, I'm feeling very emotional around day 3. So, day 3, part of the first week here is around shedding what no longer serves and creating space and bringing awareness to the parts of ourselves that ultimately have a positive intent, but the way that they present and show up doesn't really serve us, sometimes can actually sabotage us. I don't love that word, but to illustrate the point, um, they can kind of hold us back in ways that we don't really realize. But the important thing to remember is that there's a positive intention underneath it. So, what we're looking at today is the different archetypes of the egoic voice. And the egoic voice, meaning the series of experiences that we have experienced in our human life. And so that includes cultural conditioning, familial conditioning, religious conditioning, societal conditioning, all of these different influences that we have experienced that tell us what is right and what is wrong and what is good and what is bad, they contribute to these inner archetypes like the inner critic or the people pleaser or the martyr or the victim or um, the controller, the avoidant. So there's many different ways. There's even more than what I put in day 3. So there's really no exact structure that these archetypes have to fit into. Again, it's just to illustrate a point, and your own inner archetypes might be different than what was listed in day 3. So I noticed as I was going through this, some of the archetypes that really stood out for me were the inner critic and the perfectionist, the avoidant, um, the controller, and also the victim. So a lot of them. I noticed that I was writing down, and I just wanted to share. Um, I was noticing that like my controller likes to excessively plan. Like I will go in and plan to a T my day to day, like hour by hour, and that I will follow it for 3 days or a week or maybe even 2 weeks, but it basically at that point I stop following it because it's too rigid. But that controller is really coming from a place of fear, a place of wanting to protect me from not being like from fear that if I don't follow a plan that I won't be provided for, then I won't be cared for, that I won't be loved and accepted. And so it seeks to almost overcompensate from this place of fear and from maybe even a place of lack too. Um, and trying to, yeah, strive and control a certain outcome so that I don't have to experience pain or hardship or whatever. So that's the role that my controller plays. Um, my avoider gets caught in distractions, has some antsy energy, and avoids things like budgeting and checking my email. My perfectionist says that I'm not good enough to do what I'm doing. My victim feels like there's lack and that there's not enough for her. Um, one of the questions in the day in the workbook, the journal prompts was around. So it's like it's first let's identify it, and then secondly, let's understand what is the positive intention behind this. Because really all of these parts are have a capacity to be neutral to positive. It's just that when they're completely outside of our awareness, they tend to be more negative. They tend to um, employ tactics that don't necessarily actually work or have the intended outcome or function. And so that's where like what we would call sabotage comes into play, but it's not really sabotage, it's just misunderstanding and maybe a little bit of uh, misguidance. And so we just want to bring awareness to them. Again, it's really important as we're doing this that we're not judging ourselves, we're not judging these parts of ourselves, and then we're not adding to the loop by beating ourselves up for having these parts that have these thoughts that do these things that we don't like. We just want to bring awareness to them. And in bringing awareness to them, in and of itself, helps to kind of dissolve some of the energetic pull there because, again, it's no longer unconscious. Now we're bringing it into the light of our awareness. And just by doing that, it lessens the pull that it has on us. And so once we do that, now we can begin, we can look at it and we can say, oh, what are you about? What are you really wanting to achieve here? Maybe we can partner and achieve it together. So what is a positive intention? What came up for me was that my controller wants me to succeed. My inner critic wants me to be well balanced and healthy. My avoider wants me to have fun and play and be in joy. My perfectionist wants me to be excellent and effective. My victim wants me to feel safe, protected, and provided for. And I think that was it for that prompt. But the next prompt was kind of asking again, like opening up a dialogue with yourself and seeing, like, do any of these parts want to speak? Is there anything that they haven't had an opportunity to say? Is there anything that they need? Is there something that they've been trying to get your attention around that maybe even another part has avoided? And so these parts can have kind of interactions with themselves too. If you're curious, by the way, a part of this work is born from internal family systems. So if you're curious, there's a lot of great IFS books out there. It's a really beautiful way of working with yourself and introducing more self-compassion and more self-acceptance. So, but for now, we'll just continue and make space. Just open up space. Is there anything that these parts want to share? Oh, I did jump around a little bit. Sorry. I'm just gonna go back. There was another prompt that said it was asking if there was a part, if there was a like where did this part come from? If there was a memory attached to it. And for me, what I wrote was that a lot of these parts came from like 8, 10, 12, 14, 16-year-old me who had to fend for herself and figure it out on her own. She was shown that her caregivers didn't have the capacity to caretake, to be present, to provide or protect. So they showed up to do it for her. And then going back to is there anything that these parts wish to speak? And they said, we love you. We want you to succeed. We want you to experience love and joy and abundance and the magic of life. We are ready to let go. So as I was doing this, I was getting emotional, and I was just also receiving a really beautiful gift from someone, and it was so loving. It just made me really emotional because doing this devotional really has opened up a portal. And this day three, I've been really kind of stressing out and kind of beating myself up around what I'm doing in my business and my practice and how I'm marketing myself and promoting myself and blah blah blah. I stole that from Hotel Transylvania. Blah blah blah. Um, like all this, um, just trying to like navigate how I show up in the world and how I share my gifts and my medicine and my work and how I promote that and basically say in this like amorphous online space, like, yes, I'm open for business. Like, this is what I do. Anyways, it's just something that I'm I'm feeling into. And because I haven't quite figured it out yet, or because I haven't quite achieved the level of a success that I am really dreaming of, um, I beat myself up about it a lot. And so doing this was actually really beautiful because sinking into what is the positive intention that these parts have, and like this inner critic that is basically mean to me and is basically like, you're lazy, like why haven't you figured this out, like you suck. Like it's to actually recognize that they want me to succeed. Like that part of me is actually like wants me to succeed, is like, oh, I can appreciate that. And it doesn't need to look like it continuing to be mean. It can be loving, but I can love it first. Like I can show it that we can achieve the same goal. We can achieve what we're moving towards in a place of love and gentleness and kindness and compassion. And we can be on the same team. And there doesn't need to be this inner conflict where one part of me is moving towards a goal and the other part of me is also moving towards a goal, but it's going in a very different way. And it's not really like honoring the present moment or honoring these other parts and these other components, like the fact that my body needs rest or the fact that my body needs attention in certain ways. And the inner critic doesn't see it that way. And so it creates, I hope I'm being clear, but this will look different for everyone and it'll look individual to you. But just ask yourself, like, this inner conflict is something that we all experience. And so part of this work and the intention behind doing this is let's find the common ground between these budding parts. And there might be more than just two. You know, I have two hands, so that's what we're getting at here. But there's these different archetypes of the ego have many faces. It's kind of like a is it a hydra that has like many heads? And so it's like let's bring all of these together and come into what is the core here? What is the wholeness here? What is the common ground that all of me is wanting to achieve? And can we achieve that in harmony, in kindness, in a sense of teamwork, if you will? But really, when you start coming into this, it's almost like the heads of the Hydra kind of show up less and less. And so it's almost like there isn't anything to contend with anymore. It kind of just it becomes one. You become, rather than being fragmented pieces of yourself, again, they all come back as one. And as one, now, like basically all different aspects of you, all parts of you, and that includes like the different needs that you have and the different desires that you have and the different values that you have. Rather than fighting themselves, it becomes okay, we can work together as a team and we can harmonize and come together in that compassion, in that kindness, in that sense of teamwork to figure out the best way for everyone to win. Again, I'm talking about like just these internal different parts of you. Um, so that's really what the goal is here. And as I was doing this, it really felt like that. It felt like an exhale. Like I'm ready to be more compassionate with myself. I'm ready to partner with all of these parts of myself and come together and honor all of these parts. And it's just something that's really beautiful. So I hope that you practice this. And I have done personally iterations of this over and over again. At least three different times in the past 7 years or so. And so I'm very familiar with this work personally. If you are not, it might feel really intense. Even for me right now, it's intense. Like, and I've done it before. And so please be gentle with yourself. And if it feels a little bit overwhelming or it feels like there's a lot, that's okay. You can revisit this. This is just giving you a tool and a practice to use. This whole 21-day journey is just the beginning. These are tools and ways of connecting with yourself and loving yourself and embodying this greater self-compassion and self-acceptance that you are going to continue to practice really for the rest of your life. So go easy, go slow. You don't have to overwhelm yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be loving with yourself. It can also be nice to give yourself a hug. And hopefully, maybe if you're watching this, you can feel like I'm giving you a hug too. Mm. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thanks for completing day 3. I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Lots of love to you.